We're stepping straight into a genuinely terrifying narrative today. We're looking at the chilling events of Welcome Home Season 2, Part 1, A Terrifying Journey. We're really going to see how one seemingly innocent decision can just completely spiral into absolute horror. So let's step right into the dark.
We're actually going to start at the very end. Picture this: a desperate mother named Sara, weeping in the pitch dark. She's attempting to send a final, desperate plea out into the void to her daughter, Natasha, saying, "Natasha, my child, I don't know if you'll ever get this message, or if I'll be alive when you do." But to really understand the sheer panic in Sara's voice, well, we gotta look back.
So the crucial question we're exploring today is pretty simple on the surface. How did a simple shortcut turn into an absolute nightmare? We're going to retrace their steps and plunge straight into the timeline of events. And don't worry, I won't give away all the horrors just yet.
Section 1. The Terrifying Shortcut.
All right, so our story kicks off with a married couple, Sara and Henry. Now, trying to avoid some heavy highway traffic, Henry makes this fateful choice to veer off the main road and take a shortcut, straight into a dense, isolated forest. At hour 1, they're highway driving, completely safe. But by hour 2, they are taking this dense forest shortcut, and they're just swallowed up by the suffocating woods. Hour 3 rolls around, and the car starts jerking violently. And finally, hour 4, the engine smokes and just completely dies. So now they're stranded, and that dead silence is broken only by the eerie sounds of wild animals lurking right outside.
Section 2. The Old Woman's Mansion.
Obviously, they refuse to just sit there and wait for wild predators, right? So they step out into the terrifying unknown. Desperate for help, they trek through this dark brush until they stumble upon this old, rusting, totally isolated mansion. Henry knocks. The heavy door creaks open loudly, and standing there is a pale, deeply wrinkled woman leaning on a walking stick. And she greets them with, "Come, come, children, welcome. I know your car broke down." She smiles warmly, but wow, those words are deeply unsettling. Sara instantly feels this cold dread. I mean, think about it. How could she possibly know their car broke down in the absolute middle of nowhere? As they're led into these grand, super eerie hallways, the couple's viewpoints split entirely. On one hand, you have Henry's perspective. He feels this naive relief. To him, this is a safe shelter from wild predators. A creepy house is a 5-star hotel compared to getting eaten by animals outside. But then you have Sara's perspective. Her intuition is screaming that this is a creepy, mysterious trap. The woman speaks very little but just radiates menace. And the real clincher here? Sara checks her phone. 0 cell phone network. They are entirely, literally cut off from the outside world.
Section 3. The Creepy Basement Dolls.
So exhausted, they fall into a deep sleep. But in the dead of night, Sara jolts awake. She actually senses 3 mysterious figures chanting over her before she realizes Henry is gone and she's not in their guest room anymore. She's trapped in this maddening labyrinth. It goes like this. Step 1, open a door. Step 2, see a solid blank wall. Step 3, turn around and end up right back exactly where you started. It's this inescapable, nightmarish puzzle perfectly designed to disorient and break her.
Suddenly, she hears sobbing coming from the walls. Sara frantically searches and actually uncovers a hidden passageway leading down into a dark basement. Using just her phone's flashlight, she slowly descends. And what she finds down there will literally stop your breath. Hundreds of lifeless, bloody black dolls hanging from the ceiling. They're covered in blood splatters. Some are actually still dripping fresh blood right onto the basement floor.
Moving deeper into this gruesome basement, her flashlight catches a painting of a remarkably beautiful girl. Written underneath in this elegant handwriting is the name Maria. Sara stares at the painting, then she looks back up at the hanging dolls, and this massive wave of nausea and terror hits her. Every single one of those hanging dolls shares the exact same hyper-realistic face. They all look exactly like Maria.
And as if that wasn't terrifying enough, the supernatural elements violently manifest. Sara reaches out to touch the canvas, and suddenly, the painting's eyes begin to bleed thick red blood. Sara screams, tripping backward over something in the dark. And as she falls, she looks up, and one of the hanging dolls directly above her actually opens its lifelike eyes and flashes this terrifying, sinister smile.
Section 4. Deadly Hide and Seek.
Sara is scrambling in the darkness, desperate to find Henry and escape this trap. But echoing down those stone stairs, she hears it. Tap, tap, tap. The old woman's walking stick. She's arrived. Sara throws herself into a pitch-black corner, covering her mouth, muffling her breath to hide.
As the old woman wanders the basement, she starts explaining the sick rules of the house. This isn't normal hide-and-seek. In the old woman's house, hide-and-seek is a twisted game where getting caught by her quote-unquote family results in a torturous death. The old woman's voice is just dripping with this sadistic joy in the darkness. She calls out, "See my husband, my daughter Maria, and my granddaughter. Whoever finds you gets to hunt you." She taunts Sara about her daughter Maria, who apparently has a terrible temper and loves to torture victims. And guys, the most chilling revelation? The old woman happily admits that all those bloody dolls hanging from the ceiling are actually the previous guests who played this exact same game of hide-and-seek and lost.
Section 5. The Room of Corpses.
While she's trapped in the dark listening to the old woman, the temperature suddenly drops. A bone-chilling presence manifests directly behind her in the shadows. Sara slowly turns her head, her blood absolutely running cold. Standing right there with her in the pitch-black room is a towering black shadow with glowing white eyes. Sara claps both hands over her mouth to muffle her own terrified scream, blindly bursting out of her hiding spot and just fleeing into another room.
But spoiler alert, she hasn't found safety. Instead, she has stumbled upon the old woman's ultimate secret. As she bursts into this new room, she is hit by an unbearable stench of rot. Her flashlight reveals piles of heavily decayed corpses. Their mouths and eyes are forced wide open in these expressions of eternal agony. And pouring out of their mouths, in continuous lines, are hundreds of bugs crawling out. The massive, incredibly gruesome scale of the old woman's crimes is finally laid completely bare.
Section 6. Final message for Natasha.
Realizing this old woman purposely built her cottage deep in the forest so no one would ever find her victims, Sara pulls out her phone. It's dead. No network. Knowing full well she is not going to survive the night, she opens her voice recorder. With tears streaming down her face, she records a desperate final message. "Take care, Beta. I hope one day you will come looking for your mom and dad." She attaches her phone's GPS location, aiming to give her daughter the breadcrumbs she needs to eventually uncover the truth. Sara hits the send button. She waits. Her heart is just pounding in her chest, staring at that little loading icon in the dark. And then, the screen flashes, "Message failed to send." The technology utterly fails her. Absolute crushing defeat washes over Sara as she realizes her GPS location, her warning, her final goodbye to her daughter. None of it is getting out of this house. She breaks down, weeping uncontrollably, utterly trapped in the nightmare. Which brings us to our final question. Will Natasha ever know what happened to her parents? Will she ever find the mansion of the bloody dolls? Or will Sara and Henry simply become two more shadows trapped forever in the old woman's terrifying game of hide-and-seek? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep those questions coming, and stay curious as we await the next chilling chapter.